do you show up in bad times? I'm talking like the shit is hitting the fan.
It's easier for me to be hard-nosed than, all kind. I became very transparent with the team. I will tell them when I fire someone. I will tell them when someone quits. We address the entire team, let them know what's going on. What I ask myself every morning is what captain I have to be of the ship we're on to make sure that we all move together.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the High Stakes with Steve Rozenberg, and I am super excited for the guest I have today, a very good friend of mine. And you know, like when you're getting back in the saddle, you want comfortable people that if you totally fuck this up, you can laugh it off and it's not that big of a deal. So not that has anything to do with this young lady's success, because it's very, very impressive. Tiffany Rosenbaum is someone that I've known for several years. I've coached her. I've seen her, come up and just whiz past people. And there's something about the level that she plays at, I would say, and the level that she thinks at. And it could be from her past, could be, we can talk about that, of where she was and where she is. But this show is all about, living high stakes to create a lasting impression on yourself, on your memory, on your life. So Tiffany, it's awesome to see you again. It's great to see you.
Steve, I am actually very honored that you'd have me on your podcast. I highly look up to you and I appreciate you. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to just talk with you about, I love the name of the podcast too, High Stakes, because I think that's what life is. So yeah. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And your kind words. And, I think at the end of the day, we're all out here trying to grind. We're all trying to be the best version of ourselves. And it's a decision, right? You can wake up and you can have a pity party because people quit or people suck in their jobs, or you can say, you know what? I have a decision to make. I'm going to be better or worse. And that's it. And, you, like myself and other high achievers out there, we make the decision to be the best version that we can be. And I commend you for that, because it's easy to take the lazy route. It's easy to blame. It's easy to do those things. Real quick, tell everybody who you are. Just, you don't need the high level. Just give the 30-second blow by of you and your accomplishments and all the other bullshit. And then let's get into it.
Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur, driven, and I truly believe that we do not understand how powerful our minds are. And when we tap into that, we can literally accomplish anything that we've set our minds to. I own and operate 5 very successful companies. Love them, love my team, but I truly believe the rocket fuel behind any business is the team that you build. Yeah. And I love what I do, and I love high stakes because that's how I live.
So let me ask you this. You're obviously someone that you believe in coaching, you believe in mentoring. Like, have you always been that way? that saw challenges, or were you like, something happened that you're like, fuck, this is bad, I need to figure something out? Or what caused you to be so resilient?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah, you like that, huh?
I can get back up and I just keep going. I'm a stubborn person. And I think it probably actually stems back from when I was a child. My dad always taught me, if you want something, you're going to work for it. And I wanted to play basketball. I wanted a private coach. And I was like, we came from, I wasn't poor. I thought I was poor, but we weren't poor. But my dad always said, if you want something, you better figure out how to do it. So during junior high, I would go clean toilets at the junior high, so the coach would private coach me. Nice. And so my parents didn't just give me things, which my dad could have. He could have. Right. But he was like, no, you're going to work for it. And like on Saturday mornings, when all the kids were playing, I was mowing lawns and doing stuff, working and earning money. And my dad was having us build businesses. And at the end of the day, I went through high school, did not like school, worked really hard, understood I could get back up. But when it truly showed my colors is when we moved to Arizona and all money stopped. I had no food in my fridge. I was on food storage. I had no heat in my home. My back was up against the wall, and that's when I had a decision to make. This is where I'm going to work high to hell water to make sure we make ends meet. Or I could curl up in a ball and cry myself to sleep. I had many nights of crying, but I wasn't going to give up. And so that's where everything transformed and said, I can do anything I put my mind to.
So, it's interesting. I'm a big believer that pressure really shows who that person is, right? You think of a piece of coal, right? Pressure, it either creates dust or it creates a diamond.
100%.
So what was the pressure, like, was there a pivotal point that you're like, fuck it, I'm done with who, like, you at some point you had to change your identity, I'm assuming. You had to become a different person because the person you were saying, I don't want to be this person or I don't want this life. So I have to take a different tact. Was it a pivotal decision or was it a slow move?
So I'm going to answer this on a different. I think any entrepreneur, any CEO actually has to change their mindset every year. And however fast you want to move your company, you better move. And you better change your mindset. And you better grow into the leader that you need to become. So the first time was when I was on food storage. My back was up against the wall. And I was like, I can grind. I can work harder than anybody else. I can do that. But the next transformation was when I realized I wasn't a good leader. I knew how to play basketball. I knew how to coach, all that. But I wasn't a business owner that could really level up the team. And I had to fire people. I just didn't feel like I was building a team that I needed to build. And I realized it was me. I needed to change. I needed to get better. And as much as I get better and as hard as I work and is what my team's going to see. And so I started transforming myself. And actually, your coaching was the first one that I ever bought into.
Really?
Yes, ever. I never bought into a coach. I thought it was BS, to be honest. I mean, I'm just going to shoot straight. Yeah. And I was probably a little prideful because I was afraid to tell my weaknesses. And then I hired an advisory board. And then that's where things really took off.
So let me ask you this. Who you were 3 years ago, right? Let's just say 3 years ago, there were things that were probably stressing you out, that maybe it was bugging you, maybe keeping you up at night, all those things that maybe today is laughable. Now you're like, I cannot believe that bothered me, stressed me out. What someone said, a text message or whatever, the person I was 3 years ago. Are there things today that if you look forward 3 years from today, you're going to go, I can't believe that this is where I'm hanging my hat on stress today?
That's a really good question. To answer that question, I'd have to answer it from 3 years back.
Yeah.
3 years back, I felt like I was dying inside. Because I'm really driven, but I come from a culture where moms are supposed to stay home. Moms are supposed to be the mom. Mom's supposed to be with the kids 24/7. Mom's supposed to do this. But the problem is that wasn't my drive and that wasn't my ambition. And I love being a mom. Do not get me wrong. I love being a mom. But I love to create. And I love to create businesses and impact the world. And so about 3 years ago, I was dying inside. About 2 years ago, I really sat down and asked myself, what do I really want? Where do I want to be? And who is Tiffany? And that's when I decided, all right, I'm going to come out, because I felt like I was burying my talents. I'm a God-fearing person. And I heard many times, Tiff, you're burying your damn talents. Get your butt up and let's go. And I was like, that means I have to fight against the culture that I believe in. And so I knew what this was going to bring. And so I sat down with my husband. I said, I want to do this. And he supports me. Very supportive man. And so 3 years ago, that's what stressed me out. Today, that I think will be laughable is actually I live off of stress. I've always been that person, like in college. I did horrible in college until I got 4 jobs and like was so packed. And I hear it all the time, Tiff, you're so busy, you have so much on your plate. And I'm like, no. This is where I thrive.
Yeah.
I thrive. And so I think in 3 years, I'm going to try to figure out the next stress. Yeah. I call it stress. Someone else calls it creating or something.
Well, look, I think people have used the word fear. We're fearful as a bad thing. And I think fear shows up when you're about to break through. Fear is there to guide you, to say you're actually on the right path. I think the challenge is many people quit 6 inches from gold because the fear crushes them. And you know what, Tiff, you and I know, and we know people, they regret it the rest of their lives because they see other people doing it and they go, why do they have that life and I don't? And that's where I think that fear and that stress, I tell people all the time, like, winning is stressful. Losing is stressful. Life is stressful. Pick your stress. You're going to be busy. Like, people are like, man, you're busy all the time. I'm like,
what do you want me to do? Sit on the couch?
Yeah. What am I going to do? Like, I'm going to be busy. I might as well be. I like you said, loving the pressure. And that's the thing. I think people avoid it like it's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with pressure.
Not at all. And actually, if you talk about fear, I get up every morning and I talk to myself because I'm pushing bounds that I have never pushed before. And so every day I have to come in at 100%, 110%, 150%. And I have to give it because we'll double every single one of my companies this year. And when you double a company in size, all of a sudden you have to move faster than the doubling of the company. And so you have to see what's going to happen before it ever happens. And so, you know, the imposter syndrome, I mean, you have to literally fight that on a daily basis and go, look, I can do this. So I'll sit up in the morning and I'll have a thought come into my head. I'm like, no, BS, I can do this. We can do this. I know we can do this. And then it's just putting your one foot in front of the other. And so fear, I think what you said is very important. People stop because of that fear. And when you can push past and have that pressure, like, that's where I think the mind is so great. And when people can tap into that, literally, you can create anything you desire.
So let me ask you this. And I know you are a very successful, you know, like you said, you're moving mountains, which is awesome. How do you, let's say you wake up and you just have a shit show going on in front of you. You know, today's your day in the barrel, right? We all know this, right? We have those days.
Yeah.
Like, how do you handle, how do you let fear in, right? Because I don't think we can stop fear. People are like, oh, that's bullshit. How do you let it in and use it as an accelerant to actually get your day going, to be the rocket fuel that drives you? Because you remind me of someone that would do that.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, last week I had to fire someone, a manager, a top level manager in one of my companies. You think that scares the crap out of someone? Yes, it does, because it's like, okay, what has to happen? So before I fired, I made a plan. I'm like, okay, what do we have to do to map this out? And I knew I was going to go for this. I think what people need to do is take control of what they can control, control the controllables. I think when you worry about fear, you're just sitting there worrying and putting your energy into something that does not actually help you get to where you want to be. And so when I had to fire this person, I mapped it out. What am I going to do? What's the next steps? And I went in and I said, okay, this is your last day. I'm sorry. I didn't say I'm sorry. I said, this is your last day. I really appreciate you, but we're not a good fit. And she had a lot of chances. We had gone through all the processes that we needed to go through. But at the end of the day, there was a choice that had to be made to make sure the business could keep going. And one of my people that I respect wholeheartedly, I sat down with her the other day, and she was like, it's not bad. What's important is what people in business and the leadership of business has to understand is the cause has to be very important. The people have to be very important. And usually entrepreneurs really struggle with that. Either they're really good at the cause or they're really good at the people. They're not usually good at both. And entrepreneurs have to realize they have to become good at both. They have to become excellent at both, because that's how a business takes off.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, look, I think we're going to have bad days, right? We are going to hire bad employees. We are going to make bad decisions. I mean, and what I always, you know, when I'm coaching people, one of the things I tell them is what you have to think about is not the person you're keeping, but the rest of the team that is affected. It's kind of like you're letting poison get dropped in the only water well that you have, and you're making everyone drink from that water well, and you will kill all of your employees or they will leave because of the poison that you are allowing in. Mm-hmm. And so it's almost like you really have to think about not the person, but the rest of the team that you're in action. You know, listen, you and I know a lot of real estate investors. And we know a lot of real estate investors are having a hard time right now, right? They're hurting. And I've got some people that I coach and some good friends of mine that are very, very well known out there in the world, and they're having some challenges. And, you know, one thing I say to them all the time is people come to work for you for a paycheck. They stay because of your leadership. Same thing with the real estate deals that you're doing. You have real estate deals. They're coming because of you. Not just in good times, but in bad times. And that is where you really are showing your true colors as a leader, as to that is what they want to know. Is this person the leader that I thought they were? In good times, everyone can be the smartest. Everyone can be the leader. But it's how you show up in the bad times. So I guess with that being said, how do you show up in bad times? Do you put on that hard face? Are you the loving, caring person? Are you the let's cut it and walk away? Like, how do you handle bad situations? And I'm not just talking like I had a bad day, I got a flat. I'm talking like the shit is hitting the fan and I have to figure this out now on the fly. How do you handle that?
That's a really good question. It's easier for me to be hard-nosed than, all kind and stuff.
Yeah.
So I have to really work on that. And this transformed probably 2 years ago. I became very transparent with the team. Very transparent. And I will tell them when I fire someone. I will tell them when someone quits. We address the entire team, let them know what's going on, make sure they understand the steps that are being made. What I ask myself every morning is what captain I have to be of the ship we're on to make sure that we all move together. Like if you've ever watched a sailboat, that captain is what is going to decide if that sailboat flips or not. It's how that captain directs that team, how that captain shows up, how that captain makes sure the team actually knows what they're supposed to do. If they don't know what sail to put up or what sail to put down, that ship does not continue to go.
Yeah, it's similar to, obviously being a pilot, right? It's they don't pay us for when things go right. No. They pay us when we have an engine catch on fire over the Pacific Ocean and 300 people are on board and they're saying, Steve, what are you going to do? That's where you earn your money. That's if we're like, holy shit, I don't know. Good, your guess is as good as mine. Anybody have an idea? Anybody out there have a thought? That is not what you want to hear. It's kind of like a doctor. You go to a doctor and the doctor goes, well, I think it could be your heart, but it could be your appendix. I'm not really sure. You just may have an ulcer. Like, what do you think, Tiffany? What do you think the answer is? And you're like, I
hired you to know.
The look on your face says it all, right? But people are like, well, that would be crazy. Yep. But my question is that how we handle our business? Do we do the same thing in our business that we are doing the same exact thing? Obviously, your life is a little different, but it's your financial life, right? Yes. It's those things. What would you say to date has been your biggest high stake? I don't want to say gamble, but look, let's face it. As entrepreneurs, we are gamblers. We're gambling with the most vital thing we have, which is our time and our lives. So I think that we are gambling, to be completely honest. What would you say is your biggest gamble that you've done to date?
That's a really good question. To date, probably this year, actually. Doubling the size of the company, not only doing that, buying a different company, not only doing that, also changing all the software out in my company, and not only doing that, but also implementing AI and doing all the triage and through all my maintenance through AI, all within the first quarter of this year.
Wow, that is a lot. Now, is this by design or are you being reactive? And be honest.
It's all by design, all offensive, all offense.
Cool.
No, I am. We talk about this all the time. If you're reactive, you're going to blow things up. But if you go in like literally on offense and you make a plan and this is where it's going to go, this is what we're doing, and you can get all your people on that ship and you really discuss it with your team and you direct them where they're going to go, where they're going to move, how this is going to work, how this is going to be a companion to them, then all of a sudden your team and you can create so many things. Now, don't get me wrong. Doesn't mean there's not pressure and there's not stress. I tell them that all the time. You're going to want to hang me by end of quarter 2 this year. But we're going to get together. And we laugh about it. Like I tell my number 2, I'm like, did I stress you out today? And he's like, yes, you stressed me out today. And we talk about it, though. And I'm like, I'm the D, you're the C. And we come together and we make the best plan. And that's why we can move so fast. Like when I was in my advisory board, and just in April, they all turn to me and they go, how did you move so fast? Like, what you're implementing in 1 quarter is insane. I said, we're not moving fast enough. We got to move faster. Yeah. Because, like, literally how fast business is changing today, your team has to be able to move that fast.
Let me ask you this. So this is obviously business talk, and so this is kind of aligned with with business, but for your family and your kids, what do you want them to learn from you? Like, what legacy are you trying to teach them? And what do you want them to walk away going, man, mom was a hard ass, or you know what, mom was this, or like what, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want them to walk away going, that was my mom?
I really hope they can realize that they can accomplish anything in this life that they desire. There are no roadblocks except for the roadblocks they put in their own way. If they want something, they can have it.
Yeah. Do you tell them that?
I do. And I also show them.
Good.
Like when I did a board meeting, like even my husband and my kids are like, Mom, why are you stressing about this board meeting? I'm like, because these people are going to ridicule me and they're going to tell me how bad I'm doing. And they're going to like literally, and they're like, yeah, but it's your company. I said, but then why do I have an advisory board if I'm not willing to put in the work? And then I came home really excited because they all gave me really high ratings. And they're like, oh, you know, everything we do has a requirement. Everything we want has a requirement. Are we willing to do it? That's the question.
So let me ask you this. Let's look forward 10 years. What does winning look like for you? Like, what is it actually like defined? What is that? I know I'm coming up with some good ones, right?
No, this is really good because this is our vision. And we put this in. I want to help 5,000 families create lasting legacies and generational wealth through real estate and exceptional property management.
Nice. I like that.
I want to help people, and we're doing it in our company already. We're helping our team members invest, teaching them how to invest, analyze properties. Like, real estate is the golden goose. Like, we just bought another 8 this month. Like, yeah. I'm still living that. Like, as much as I can buy, I'm going to buy. As much as I can help other people, I'm going to help other people create this generational wealth. Because it really is. It's generational wealth. And we talk about it with our kids all the time. My middle child's like, Mom, how do I get a property? I'm like, all right, you better start saving up money. Start working. You need 10% to 20% to put down, and let's go. And so he's working really hard at doing that. And I said, and sometimes he's like, Mom, can I have TV time? I'm like, do you want TV time or do you want the property? You get to decide.
Yeah, I like that. Couple more questions. I love this. I want to keep firing them at you because I love your answers because it just shows that you live this. Like you're not reading from a document because we didn't even discuss what our topic was going to be. If a 18, 19-year-old knobby-kneed, skinny Tiffany walked in your office today and said, I want to be you. She said, I want to be you. What would you tell her to do? And more importantly, what would you tell her not to do?
Oh, I would tell her to go learn as much as you could. Because after I got out of high school, I thought I was done learning, or after I got out of college. That was the biggest mistake. I would have told her, you learn. You learn from everybody you can as fast as you can. You become that sponge, and you invest as much as you can. And then I'd tell her, do not listen to anybody that tells you that because you're a woman, you need to stay home. You go after what you truly want because you can have it. And you don't have to be living in this box. Go outside the box. See what that world you can create.
It's almost like be successful because you're a woman. Like don't you know what I mean? Like instead of like using that as the reason why you can't, it's like, no, that is why you're going to be successful because you are a woman and you have the skill sets, the knowledge. And I it's funny when you talk to people that have success, like you, myself, other people that we know, it's a common theme of what we all say. Like there's nothing like you don't normally hear something and you go like, wow, I never heard of that. Like that threw me. It's normally pretty consistent of what you would say, what I would say. My answer is always information plus implementation.
Oh.
Because, just reading a book or watching a video doesn't do it. You got to implement. It's kind of like you can't read a book on golfing or swimming and think you're going to be able to do it. You actually got to get in the pool and swim. And I've honestly, the person I've heard it the most that just resonated was Alex Hermosi, where he's like, you just have to do more. Like, that's the answer. The answer is just more. It's like, it makes it so simple. You're like, yeah, that makes so much sense.
I love what you said, because literally last year, I'm like, I'm only doing 20% of my capacity, and people are, you're busy. I'm like, no. I haven't mastered my time. How many of us get in front of our computer and work on emails for an hour, which is ridiculous? Or how many of us scroll on our phones? When we become masters of our time, we can accomplish so much more and do more than what we're doing now. It just is what it is.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I got a couple questions I'm going to fire off at you, more so.
Okay.
And I don't want you to think. I just want you, the first thing that comes to mind, I want you to answer.
Those are hard, but okay.
I know. That's why. Okay, so what is a personal non-negotiable for success for you?
Never give up.
Okay. Would you rather lose time or lose money?
Sorry, I can't. Lose money.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. It's a lot of people pause on that one. And what I've learned is whatever we value the least is what we waste. So most people don't value their time, so they will hoard their money and they will waste their time. Mm-hmm. Successful people, they hoard their time and they will burn through money because they know they can reprint money. They can't reprint time.
That's exactly what my thought process was right then. I'm like, okay, because I'm not one to burn money, but at the end of the day, I can recreate.
Yeah, so exactly. And it's funny. I always tell people, like, even in coaching, like I tell people, you're going to pay the bill. The bill's coming. You're either going to pay in time or money. It's either going to take you 12 years or it's going to take you 12 months. Which one is more valuable to you? Because yes, it is expensive to invest in your success. However, wait till you get the bill for failing. It's much higher and you have nothing but regret
100%.
and nothing to show for it. So I agree. Okay. What's one book that changed your mindset forever?
Founder, Starbucks. I have a few. Atomic Habits. Amazon. Jeff Bezos' book was really good. Walmart. If you read those books together, that was transformative.
Really?
Because Amazon came into the market, and what he did was poach Walmart's executives, because he knew if he poached Walmart's executives, they could actually build up his company faster than if he didn't. So he went into the market, got the best of the best, and says, we're on our road to success.
I like that. Yeah, you don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Nope. So I love audibles. I don't sit down and read. I listen to audibles.
I'm the same. Okay. Current obsession, business or personal, doesn't matter.
Business, creation, growth.
Okay. So I want you to finish this sentence for me. You ready?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm the kind of person who
gets on my computer and works.
Okay.
Now, if you ask me what I did in the morning, I get up and work out. I run, I strength train, so.
Do you still do your ice baths?
I have not lately. I've been out of it for a little bit. I want to get back into it, but I've gotten out of it because I am pushing really hard right now. That's an area that I was like, I'm going to give that up because I'm pushing in so many other areas.
Because it takes so long to ice bath, right? Is that why?
No, it's a mental game. And
I
so
know.
I'm pushing mentally really a lot right now. So
here's the thing. Don't say you want to. Just say it's not a priority.
It's not a priority. That is a better thing. It's not a priority right now.
Because I just, whenever someone says they want, I'm like, you're full of shit. You don't want it, because if you really wanted it, you would do it. It's just not high enough on the priority list, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's 100%. I love that you said that, because I think the words that come out of our mouth, and that's something I'm working on every day. The words that come out of our mouths train us.
Totally.
And so if we say we want, actually, like what you said, it's BS, because if you wanted it, you would have already had it.
Yeah, it's like the 3 words that I was taught. Never say try, can't, and but.
I hate those words.
Those are loser words. And so
Now I
like
do
just
say but every once in a while, but those other two I hate.
well, what you should say is swap out but for and.
Yes.
Today's going to be a hard day and I'm going to work hard. Okay.
I love that.
So it's like and you know what's funny, Tiffany, like especially with your employees and other people, especially when I'm coaching people and they start using it, I'll just start hacking every time they say it. And then they're done and I'm like 13. And they're like 13 what? I'm like, you said I'm going to try 13 times. And they're like, no, I never said it once. I'm like, yeah.
Yes, you did.
And
you
so
know how many times we say but though? Like I care about you, but what you said there is really important because I notice myself, I'll say but, and what you're doing is negating the whole entire sentence you just said.
Yeah, everything up to the word but was the lie. What you really wanted to say, like, I really like you, but you're kind of an asshole. What you're really saying is you're really kind of an asshole. You were just softening up the sentence before you said it, right? That's kind of what it is.
Oh, all right, words are power.
Last question. What would you say scares you the most? Failure or wasted potential?
Oh, wasted potential by far.
Yeah,
by far.
I agree. We've all failed and we will keep failing. You know, I mean, there's failure is just, it's part of the process to succeed. It's not in lieu of, right? In my opinion, it's when you quit. That's a different question.
100%. And people quit too fast.
Yeah. Well, Tiffany, I freaking love, I mean, you always energize me and I really appreciate it. Any last words before I kind of close this out?
I appreciate you having me on. I love talking to you. Like you talk about me energizing you, it's the other way around. Like I can get on the call with you and I'll be like, yes, I can do this. We got this. You know, it's
love
just,
it.
You know, you want to put yourself around people that energize you. And you're one of those people. I appreciate it, Steve.
I appreciate you. And, you know, if anyone here is listening right now and you're stuck in that, you know, survival mode, just, you know, break it down and ask yourself, what is one bold move that I need to make today? It's not, you know, it's not the 1,000-mile journey. It's like, what's the one step I need to make, right? Because, you know, when it's all said and done, I just think that it's not how much money we make. It's none of that. It's what do we want to be remembered for? Like, what do we want someone to say about us, right? And that's the thing. And you really have to realize that life is about creating the memories. I think it's the journey. You know, we all have bad things happen to us in life that we can't control. And to me, it's all about the journey of where we're going and who we're going to be in the process. And I just think that sometimes we need to focus more on where we're going because sometimes we get so caught up in the identity of what we're doing when that's just like the vessel. That's like saying I'm a Suburban. It's like, no, the Suburban takes you to a destination to go enjoy the time with your family. It's just the vehicle. And I think we all get, myself included, and sometimes I think we just have to realize we're on a journey. You, me, myself, and that journey is really to have a better life, to create more memories with loved ones. That's really what I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. You don't want to be known as, man, she was a great property manager. Man, she was awesome. Like, no, like she created wealth for her family. She created abundance. She created all this for her family. And she spent time and memories and all those things. Not that, man, I love those 12-hour days she put in. Like she was such a hard worker. Like no one's going to remember that, right? And that's not what we want to be remembered for. So
no, we want to be remembered for the people that we're able to impact.
I agree. So Tiffany, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. For those of you that are listening and watching, thank you for watching the High Stakes with Steve Rosenberg. We are back. I'm going to have just a ton of awesome guests like Tiffany. We're going to be back every single week, coming out, hitting it hard. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, all that stuff so that you can get more of this. And I will see you next week on High Stakes with Steve Rosenberg.